365 Sports.
Good morning. Welcome into the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. I am Faith Lynch here with Matt Mosley. Happy Saturday. Baylor versus Arizona at Arizona, 12 p.m. kickoff. Lots of news happened this week. Tons of things to talk about, but thanks for starting your morning with us. We'll launch our Hour 1 fan vote before we dive into everything else. How do you feel about President Livingstone's announcement that Dave Aranda will remain Baylor's head football coach? Great, good, meh, or disappointed? Matt? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, we had to start with that.
Yeah, I just get it out there.
Yeah, put it right out there. And that is the news. We will talk about some football today.
Yes,
and
would
they're
love
actually
to talk about some football
kicking
today.
this thing off at noon. This is a very interesting matchup. I think that Arizona brings, and we'll look at some of what they do and some of what they do on defense. And they've actually been really good lately on that side of the ball, and they have a very familiar face as the offensive coordinator. So we'll try to talk some of the game today. I think that would be good.
I agree.
I also think that this has been a tough week for Baylor in a lot of ways, really sad to see Mack Rhoades go. And then I think President Livingstone was put in a very tough spot in having to make a decision that she knew was going to be very, very unpopular with this fan base. And so I would have put, I think, on one of the answers, they don't consult me on these things, is just angry as hell or something like that, because disappointed seems like too mild, right? Yeah. It's like the good news about Baylor right now is I don't think there'll be a lot of meh. I mean, you want people to be invested, and I've seen what I've tried to do is realize, like some of yesterday's response, yes, there are some that are sort of over the top, but I also recognize that's okay. Like, people are just venting, and I don't think it's anything personal against Dave Aranda. I don't know how his family and others wouldn't take it that way. I have been in touch with members of the Baylor staff, and I'm sure they feel like, well, it's a circle the wagon. So in some ways, they feel immense relief. We're going to have a job moving forward if we want to stay here. That's the nice part of it. The negative, tough part of it is when you sense that nobody wants you back. And that's and I think the feelings are mainly toward the head coach. I don't think whether it be Spavital, Keenan, some of these others, I think and I think Dave's okay with that, because he's the leader of this thing. And, I've read through that letter. I think it was pretty well crafted. On the Matt Mosley show this week, Faith, there's a chance here in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when they'll do it. I think they should have President Livingstone out pretty quickly, in addition to the letter, which, again, they tried to explain, and you saw all the reasons, and money, certainly being at the forefront, but also just timing.
Yeah. And
as sad as I am, and as much empathy as I have for Mack Rhoades, his family, everything that's going on right now, he put them in an extremely, extremely tough spot. And do I think that after that game, that loss against Utah, that they might have had a new head coach this week, or an interim head coach? I do, if Mack had still been in charge.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. And we'll never know. Now, Mack may do an interview at some point and visit with someone. Maybe it'll be me. And he might comment on something like that. I don't know. But the one thing he was very candid. And unfortunately, with the way this head coach has run media, the AD really was the face of the program. And so that's really kind of what happens is when you have a quiet, sort of meek head coach, and then you have this huge decision that needs to be made. And, oh, by the way, you don't have an AD, decisions get made like this. And it was and we'll talk more about it, Mosley's Mind, which is a little bit later in the program today. I think they've just decided, let's just push it back a little bit. No, to feature it in such an aggressive manner. But no, I'll talk more about that. And I'll talk more about like what I think the Baylor should lean into. I think.
I'm excited to hear.
Oh, good. I'm excited for faith in the field.
Thanks.
I understand we'll have to maybe get a local bookie involved as we look at that.
But no, to all your points of, I think it's a difficult timing of wanting to try to feel like you can solve a problem and make people happy. I think those players really like Dave Aranda. I know Sawyer did an interview with Robert Griffin. I think a lot of people think that was like a poorly timed interview. I think they did that purposely, probably, of like, hey, gonna probably announce that he's coming back. Let's have our star quarterback say something positive about him. I do really think those guys appreciate him and want to play for him. So that's my only thing where I'm like, okay. And you were saying that no one should say meh. I kind of feel meh about it. Just because I'm like, okay, like what else can go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not a whole lot of excitement around the football program right now. And I don't think putting a new coach in right now is going to solve anything. I don't know. It's a very bleh situation. No one, that's how I feel about it. I'm like,
I don't know if that was an option. You're giving a lot of, that's not a meh.
Noises.
That's like a meh. That's, yeah.
Like, it's just like,
not.
Okay. Hopefully a new athletic director comes in. I think we'll see some other changes on staff, right?
Well, we usually do. If there's anything Dave Aranda's known for, it's firing assistant coaches, and it happens. But again, I think the only thing that could maybe get people feeling better is hiring a really inspired candidate, hiring an AD who paints a picture and really brings something to the table and has a clear NIL portal, all those things. But I think any thought that, I mean, yeah, money was part of this, but the truth, the main thing to keep hammering home, it was just the timing.
Yeah.
They got put in a situation. So to your question, to your thing, would a new coach have gotten everybody excited? Yes, it would have. I mean, it would have automatically, a change would have inspired change. But now the timing aspect of this is everything would have been rushed. You were going to have to race to get an AD. He was going to have to then come in, race to get a new coach. And so people think, well, who's going to want this thing with Dave Aranda? And, well, here's the thing. That I think a lot of AD candidates prefer it this way than having to come in and not really even know the staff and like run some kind of crazy fast search. Now they got like 11 months to evaluate what's going on, see if they could make it work with Dave. And if they can't, but then they have like a whole year to get the strategy right, maybe get the money right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to AD candidates that could totally, I mean, they know that they need to get in there and like there needs to be major NIL and portal, like a clear vision. Maybe Baylor can visit a more professionalized look at the NFL. I do know we need to thank Central National Bank.
Speaking of NIL and money, Central National Bank has a lot of money, and they're wanting to take care of your money for you.
And they do a great job, and you see it pop right up there. And that happens on the Mosley Show. They're the presenting sponsor of the Mosley Show. Heard 1 to 3. I know, Faith, that's part of your afternoon. Probably, worry about your work production during 1 to 3 because that's a time when you can kind of tune in and see what's happening. But C&B, tremendous, different kind of bank location, 2 locations here, one in Temple, one in Austin, and then some new ads we're going to be sharing that are kind of fun.
Ooh,
and
fun.
that involve Baylor women's basketball. They have those really fun ones that they filmed in-house. And so we appreciate everybody, and I love that Joe Nesbitt, the whole Nesbitt family, Brian Fonville, Veronica, they all, whether it's in the morning we're on like now or on game, whenever we're on this show, they're always like tuning in.
Yeah.
And if I make a mistake, they're the first people to like reach out. Yeah. No, I don't do that. Right. But they're great. And so we're extremely appreciative of that. I find it interesting today. Like I was just kind of trying to process like everything that's happened. And then the fact you got to go play a game. The cool thing is the players, I would imagine most of them, I don't think they've quit on Dave Aranda. A lot of them are going to be gone after this year. But the young players, at least, I think probably are kind of excited about the choice Baylor made. You go, well, who's excited about this? Well, maybe some of those players, the coaches that, maybe not all of them have to go look for new jobs now. Dave Aranda gets to coach another year. People have said, would like an angry sort of backlash cause Dave to reconsider and step down? And the truth is, when you're making like a huge amount of money and then you're not wired to be on social media,
right.
I wish I didn't have to feel like I had to be on Twitter or occasionally go on Facebook. The minute I go on Facebook, I'm like, well, I probably should tell this person happy birthday. And then they have those weird messages.
Facebook's weird.
Well, now they have those things. It used to be just happy birthday, and you're like, like make it pretty easy. And now they go, smile at your birthday or something. And I'm like, I don't want, that seems creepy. I don't want that person to hear that from me. So, but that most of us do have like too much social media in our lives, and Dave does not. And so for Dave Aranda, I think I called him Houdini. It's kind of a dated reference, but Faith Houdini was someone that could like get out
magician, right?
Kind of sort of, but like an escape artist.
Okay.
And so Dave continues to do that. Almost anybody would have been gone after 2023.
Yeah.
And part of the reason Dave, well, maybe I should save some of this for Mosley's mind. I feel like we're delving into.
We are kind of. Well, we can also talk about what today means for Baylor. They're on the edge of a bowl game or not. I think that's another huge thing of, okay, are they going to go all the way to Arizona on Arizona's senior night and win this game? I don't know. I feel like if we were going to make a bowl game, it was going to be 2 weekends ago. But
you're making that
that's
sound
just
a
how
lot.
I'm like, I hate it.
Since you're going to be talking about gambling, can you give me the line on this game? What's the
what is the line?
Oh, yeah,
we'll have to look at that. You're always prepared for what the line is.
No,
I don't know. I hate saying I don't think they're going to win. I think it looks terrible. Like I that's not my personality. I don't like saying negative things about Baylor, but only two reasons I think Dave is sticking around for a good reason is I think this recruiting class that's coming in is supposed to be really, really good. And so that's one thing that he can do is recruit. And I want to see how this recruiting class that's coming in next year plays out. These freshmen that are playing are doing really well. So I'm curious to see, okay, if we can get 3 or 4 of those freshmen. Again, we lost Dawson Pendergrass this year, so Caden Knighton was able to step up and has done great, I think, in my opinion. So what's this freshman class that's going to come in? Are they going to do the same? So now we have these 2 classes that are really pushing, who committed to Dave, who committed to Coach Aranda. They didn't commit to anyone else. So I think that's a reason he's staying. And these guys genuinely like him. So I think Baylor's going out there to play against Arizona today and is excited that they know who their head coach is going to be next year. Maybe some guys are not going to jump in the portal now that Dave's staying. I don't know. Maybe some guys are going to jump in the portal because he's staying. That's where I think now we have to look at who's actually going to come back for next year too, with Coach Aranda still being here.
I think this was just such a bang, like a Max officially gone, Dave's coming back the next day. Is just a lot for people to take in. From a game standpoint today, you're right. I think it's going to be really, what President Livingstone and Baylor needs to happen is like a really inspired performance. Mm-hmm. This is earlier in the season, Arizona was could go either way. it's kind of like a season West Virginia had a couple of years ago when they actually had a bounce back season, finished like 8-4 or something. Like this team is sitting there 7-3. They're playing better. Fafita's going to go out. 2 years ago, he was great, and they were on the verge of something. They lost their head coach to Washington. They brought in Coach Brennan from San Jose State, and he's really done a good job this year because I thought they were headed in the wrong direction. They lost an incredible wide receiver, but to your point, it'll be interesting to see, like, this is where leadership comes in.
Yes.
Now, to have great leadership, part of it is you have to have people that are willing to follow them. And I mean, Sawyer has really had a decorated, it's been condensed, but he's had a decorated career. The things I'm looking forward to today are like, could he maybe put like a massive game together? Like, I'd love to see him go out. He's been such a great guy in a huge, I mean, and again, I think that's one of the big letdowns this year is that they're 5-5 with lots of firepower on the outside. Trigg having the greatest year for a tight end in Baylor history for a tight end. I mean, he's unstoppable. I thought it was interesting that the coordinator, Seth Dagey, the offensive coordinator for this team, he recruited Trigg to USC. And by the way, when Nick Florence came in that famous time and filled in for RG3 against Texas Tech, the quarterback for Texas Tech that day was none other than Seth Dagey.
Oh, cool.
Who is the offensive coordinator for Arizona now. There's a lot of tie-ins. I did like the sort of anecdote with this Coach Brennan talking about how he went to interview for a GA spot all those years ago at Cal Lutheran. And in that room was a young Dave Aranda.
Very cool. I remember him saying that this week.
I find it interesting that part of the reason Dave Aranda survived in 2023, among many others, is because Mack Rhodes believed that other coaches revere Dave Aranda.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's important, and I get it. I've been frustrated. I wanted change and all of that. Sometimes we kind of have to remember that, for whatever reason, other coaches think, and you go, well, because they're beating him or something.
Oh,
but no,
gosh.
I think they have tremendous respect for him.
I agree.
Which is what makes it so maddening. And that's one of the reasons he hung on in 2023. It was money. It was bringing back these DBs. It was a kind of, hey, we're going to get him some more NIL money. And let's just be honest, his willingness to fall on the sword for Baylor. I mean, Mack certainly has to take his share of responsibility for Baylor not coming out. The Bears did what we've done too many times in the past. It was kind of like, we're going to do it the Baylor way. And the Baylor way is wonderful, and there's so many things, all the champions
truly.
For life and
100%.
person over play. You were part of that, playing volleyball.
Yeah.
You recognize. And so the investment in character, that's great. But in doing all of that, Baylor sort of said, you know what, we're going to we may dip our toe in, but we're going to see how this all goes, and we're going to kind of do it the Baylor way. And there are other people that maybe tried to do that. And maybe Clemson tried to go, we don't like this stuff.
Yeah.
And this isn't who we are. And it set them back. It set back like a monster program by viewing it that way. So I think that the only reason I feel like a little bit good for Dave is that he did wear all this. He just kind of has said, yeah, it's my fault. Okay, that's my fault. This is my fault. Now, the thing that's so maddening is game after game, week after week, our locker room is hurting right now, or we didn't expect this. And we showed them what they did in practice and then what they did in the game. That stuff really starts to fall on deaf ears.
And I think
the messaging is most people have tuned it out. And so to your point, maybe there are more people than I realize that have a meh, whatever, I'm kind of done with this. And what I don't know is if people will follow through next year, because right now what they're saying is, I'm not going to come to the games.
Yeah.
But, all it would take is like, wait a second, what if one of these freshmen, or what if one of these quarterbacks, the freshman Quinn Murphy who's coming in, the Ed Griffin out of Coppell, who Nate Bennett, Walker White. I mean, like, what if somebody kind of in the off season makes a big jump? What if they go find somebody in the portal?
Yes.
Fans are just looking for hope.
Yeah.
And right now there's just not much.
Yeah. I think there's also frustration too of Dave Aranda is known for defense, and that's probably one of Baylor's worst parts of their game this year is defense, I would say. So I think there's a lot of frustration in that. Like, this is supposed to be your specialty. You're supposed to be really good at this, and it's not happening. But I love your point of he's very respected in the coaching world, and I would agree. I think just watching his press conferences, I feel like each week, whoever we're playing against, he has some connection there or some story or how he knows someone and was sitting in an interview for this guy and really respects him. So I think he's very loved in the coaching world. But we have to win games. You got to win games. People want to see a good product. You got to win games. Still can prepare champions for life and win games.
And so the attitude could be, if you could win these last two games, who knows?
Would be great.
But it would do two things.
Yeah.
It would make you maybe they have a little momentum.
Mm-hmm.
It would also make people go, look what could have been, or look what we wasted. I get that. I get that view too. But it would at least, I think for President Livingstone, it would be very nice. Like, I think I know she's taking a major hit right now. I think she had some really bad options, and she picked the best of some bad options.
Yes.
And I think that was admitted. The only thing in the letter that like struck me as a bad tone was like at some point, or the wrong tone was at some point they said, we don't settle for mediocrity. We don't believe in complacency. And so that doesn't resonate with people when we've watched mediocrity and when we've seen complacency. And there just hasn't been. There have been good moments during this tenure, but there haven't been enough of those.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm very excited for Mosley's Mind. That is just around the corner.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. I mean, there's a lot.
There's a lot in there today.
There's a lot. There's too much. There's too much. And I have thought about this and anxious to do that. And also, when we get in there, I get to talk about one of my favorite local restaurants.
You too.
Yeah. And I'll probably go by there today. And there's just some things I love talking about when it comes to the Brazos Landing. And love that Lindsay family, and look forward to seeing them. All right, let's do some Mosley's Mind, and let's do that next on the Green and Gold Game Day Show.
Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship trained and board certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome back into the 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. Faith Lynch with Matt Mosley. The legal pad now has notes on it, so I think that's time when we get into Mosley's mind.
Boy, I tell you, I feel like we've already, oh my gosh,
what
Kevin,
are you doing?
I know. Kevin's very upset.
Yeah, that was a rookie mistake.
Oh my
Mosley's
goodness.
mind loves to have coffee near, but Kevin thinks the world will fall down if I.
Coffee is fine as long as it's unnamed coffee.
It is. It's unnamed. Nobody recognizes where that could have come from. It is time for Mosley's mind. Surely there's like music. Is there something? Is there something?
Like a drum roll? Is that,
I just feel like
something
some
you need
kind of something crazy. Can Andrew come up with something? Kevin, my gosh. Oh, wait. There we go. Like, yes, that gets me. Nice, guys. That was nice.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Just continuing to play is underbad.
Oh, jeez.
You know, and Faith, thank you for setting me up for
of course.
Mosley's mind. It could be a dangerous place. And, you know, given my drive from Dallas to Waco this morning and, you know, to drive down for a road game, always a pleasure. And Arizona Wildcats, I can't help but think today about like what this would have been like for Mac. This is his alma mater.
Yeah.
His family still has a house there. His parents, Tucson is home to him. So this could have been kind of an interesting, go home and all that kind of thing. And it'll be interesting to see kind of what he does moving forward. And I think there might be an opportunity for him to maybe do an interview or maybe talk, and maybe there's another chapter for him. But I do think it's probably important. I'll start Mosley's mind by saying he put Baylor in an extremely bad spot. So, I mean, and he's basically, at least for now, lost his career over it. That said, I think it bears repeating that in 2016 he inherited a mess.
Yeah.
No matter where you land on the Art Briles and whose fault was it, and was it the president? The president now is being connected to somebody else. That's for a story for another day. But I mean, he brought back a sense of dignity, makes a great hire with had to deal that year with all of Art's coaches, with poor Jim Grobe, And then everybody showing up at game wearing stuff, honoring CAB, Coach Art Briles. And that was what was going on. There was a huge cloud over the program. And then he spent a lot of his time sort of fighting that, having the Big 12, and that was Bowlesby back at the time, say, okay, yeah, we're sorry you're going through this, but we're going to go ahead and fine you and withhold a bunch of money too. And that felt like at the time some grandstanding from the conference. In the past, most conferences know if you're going to get hammered by the NCAA or you've already had to have all these huge changes to your program, the conference should probably not come knock you over the head. All right. So Mac dealt with that. And I would just say over the years and the championships, he had the women's championship in 2019 with Kim. Scott wins one in 2021, all the acro and tumbling stuff. I mean, tons of stuff there. Maybe there was an equestrian in there somewhere. Because I read something is like he had 9 national championships or something, 8 or 9. I'm like, well, that's a lot of acro and tumbling. But huge breakthrough in 2021. Now, I know he didn't hire Scott. He didn't hire Kim. But, I mean, he managed all that. And so I think when we assess his time here, there's a lot involved because he had to do the NIL and all that kind of thing. Kim walked. I just think that's on both of them. Those two could not find a way to get along. Mm-hmm. And I think some people in Waco would go, that's on Mac. And some people would go, that's on Kim. Yeah. Because quite honestly, she'd had an AD for a long time who let her do whatever she wanted, and she could say whatever she wanted. Yeah. I'm a little bit cringy when I hear, all the people in the athletic department were glad to see her go and all that, because it's okay, that's not really what this is about. It's about what she. Anyway, we're not going to relitigate all of that, but she had an unbelievable time.
You can't take that away from her.
But those two couldn't get along. Yeah. And so everybody had to. That's that will be part of his legacy, both the national championship with her, and then depending on what you believe, either he pushed her out or she left on her own accord. But that was not good. That was not fun. Nikki Collins has done a nice job. Okay. Yes. I did not like the way they played against Iowa the other night. Yeah. I did watch the whole game and did not, they didn't shoot. I mean, they're not, most games, they're not going to go 8 for 32 from 3 and only one of their players is hitting those threes, by the way. Talia had 6 of them. So, I mean, I love the women's program and I love watching it. That was a poor performance, but overall, Nikki has done a good job.
Great job with that program.
Most of his hires, pretty good. Mm-hmm. I think the Aranda thing obviously is I don't know. You could make some arguments either way there, but right now that is not looking good. So I wanted to start out with that. I also want to, when I bring up sort of problems and things, I like to also bring some solutions.
Oh, good.
So one thing, you mentioned it, and I think it's important. Lean into what you're doing well. What are you doing well in football right now? Well, not a lot. But this recruiting class, so one positive by bringing him back is you have the chance to retain a lot of this recruiting class. One of the fun things about this class was getting all these local players that you've been losing. Mm-hmm. The Temple kid, Torian York, who's such an incredible player, is a great player at A&M. He was a Baylor commit at one point. Yeah. They lost him. Just across people from university, whether it's from Conley, whether it's down the road, they've held on to 3 or 4 really, really talented folks in Central Texas. And for whatever reason, that was not happening, other than the occasional, Brooks from Lorena. I mean, you occasionally would bring in Porter, I should say. Jaden Porter. Yeah. Okay, sometimes,
Oh, I was trying to follow you. I was like, that one I don't know.
I know. I have to work through these things.
It's okay.
But
there's a lot up there.
I got to him. That's right. There's so much knowledge
there is
to sift through. Instead of just saying, hey, here's our class, here's a really good class, let's celebrate it.
Yeah.
let's like have a moment where the head coach maybe comes out and does a news conference. And again, not that he's the most inspiring in front of a mic, but let's not be the only coach in the Big 12 not doing a news conference to talk about your new group. I mean, Dave in this lame duck does not need to continue to be coddled. Yeah. Boy, they've coddled him from a media standpoint. Some of that is me being selfish, because I've been denied things that I've never been denied with other coaches, right? It's honestly kind of sad, not just me, just the way his approach and the fact that he doesn't, surely somebody's been in his ear, hey, this media people could you might want to play this game or whatever, not just for us, but that we're the conduit for the fans.
We can help.
We can, and we can serve as a platform, but the fan. So I would just say, hey, you've recruited well. Like, let's celebrate the things you're doing fine. Mm-hmm. In some respects, people are saying they're the number 25 class. I've seen 29.
Yeah. At least in the top 50, which I feel like with the state of the program right now is a big deal to have a top 50 recruiting class, right?
I mean, I just call it, I'm just saying, let's go top 30. I mean,
well, 29.
Yeah,
I was top 30, but
I know
maybe someone else said 30.
Let's give them. We need more than top 50, but it's good. It's local. Let's lean into it. Yeah. All right, that is one thing. Let me put on my glasses.
That was a good solution. I like that one.
Good, and just handle it differently. Handle the way you present this. I had to look real quick to make sure I'm not going too long.
No, you're doing great. I got your time. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I've taken that on as part of my job. Keep Mosley on time.
That's what they used to say about me back in the day.
Oh, that is appreciated.
They would leave the room after a segment. I'd hear, and they didn't know I was there, and they'd be like, "We got to get him refocused. We got to get him some energy." But I mean, my energy's fine.
No, your energy's great. I'm very invested.
Okay, good.
And we're on time, so it's
good.
It's great.
I mean, I'm not really worried about. But no, the other one is on the field today. Like, why not? There was a game, and I keep coming back to it, and it's kind of getting late in the season for this, but they changed last year's season, at Tech. And it was like one of these great releases. It was like, oh my gosh, like they could actually be decent. They could be a good team. And they threw like haymakers in that game. UCF's not a good team. Right. But like even in that game, they were up 14-0 or 17-0 in a hurry.
Yeah.
And so like today would be a good day. There's no reason to go out there and be tight. You're no longer playing for your head coach.
You're playing for a bowl game, though.
I know, but I'm just saying your head coach. Yeah, and while as fans and media, we're like, we kind of turn our nose up at some of these bowl games.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a chance for some of these seniors to extend their time and get to play in a bowl game. And historically, Baylor players, unlike some other places where they sit out bowl games, or even during COVID, people were sitting out their whole senior years. I mean, Baylor just had a former quarterback who, 8-9 games into a season said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and leave the team now. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going to go prepare for the draft. And that's what DeQuan Finn just decided to do at Miami of Ohio. Like Sawyer wouldn't do that in a million years. And in part, so like, why should people show up at Houston? Why should people be invested in today's game? Well, because what you say, and people miss this sometimes, you spent all those years playing Baylor volleyball and like pouring your life. And though you did other things, like let's not act like you had in your sorority. It was not the same sorority experience as all your pledge sisters. You had a completely...
I was a fake Pi Phi. That's what I tell everyone.
Correct. I mean, you were allowed to wear the letters, and that's about it. But I mean, you showed up for
I was here to play volleyball.
Some of the dances, but you came here to play. And so the sacrifices these players make warrant like our attention and support. 100%. And so why in the world would you not want... Because now... I sort of understood, and I was not one of these, but I understood there were people that honestly, even that UCF game, we're kind of like, let's lose this thing, get this guy fired.
Yeah.
And I think right now he's already safe.
Yeah, he's here. So,
and I think that's why they saved him and just went ahead and did this quick, because they're like, let's take the fear out of these 2 weeks, and then let's also take the pressure off whatever kind of search we're going to do. And by the way, that search is going. The people on that search committee, which I'm not one of, I mean, you would think they would have, tapped me and, one of their first choices. It's not, they are going to not disclose that. I think it would be good to let people know, here's who's representing our university as they close in on this. But whatever reason, Baylor, does it, not everything.
I feel like right now that would be scary for those people, because every decision that Baylor is making, people are not happy with. So if we're going to disclose the committee, then may bring in a new head coach or hire a new AD or beyond that. I feel like that may be scary for those people, because if they make a wrong decision, well, then it's their fault. And now Baylor fans are even more mad because they may know those people that are donors or connected, or I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I agree. Part of me is like, I want to know who's making these decisions, and, not that how can I get involved, but who's making these decisions and why are those people being chosen, and what do they have on their resume that makes them qualified to make those decisions. But I think for the state that Baylor athletics is in, probably in those people's best interest to not have their names publicized. But I don't know. I am grateful for my first year of covering a football season that there's been a lot that has happened. So to watch Nady leave and to coach be on the hot seat, and then maybe a Heisman, college ball playoffs, and now we're 5-5. Like it's been interesting to cover it. So I don't know what that's supposed to look like from a hiring committee standpoint.
I like that you're grateful for all this craziness that's happened. That is Mosley's mind. Thank you, Brazos Landing. I'll be over in just a little bit. It is time now. The Big 12 wraparound. We'll go around the Big 12, talk about some of these matchups. We'll do it next.
Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive into Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out gathercoremodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Game Day show. Faith Lynch with Matt Mosley. Now jumping into the Big 12 wraparound, which is, I think, Mosley's favorite segment.
I love a good wraparound.
I know you do.
And I like looking around the country, and this is an odd start time for the Bears. The noon, I mean, everything is slated around 11 a.m. games, and this is somehow TV related and probably related to being out in Arizona.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, this is a slate. I always love it when college football people feel the need to like defend, because I think the natural thing this week is to go just not that many great games. And then the true sickos kind of are like, no, this is a great week. There's some interesting, and here's what I kind of like about these weekends, because we can sort of focus on like a handful of games instead of like, well, okay, there's like 10 or 11 like bangers. We really can't. We can act like we're looking at all of them, but we can't take them all in.
Yeah.
When you have like 4 or 5 decent ones, you can kind of, and we know what we're going to do. We're going to take in this noon game as the Bears get ready to play Arizona. But I do want to work through some of these, and
Yes.
there's a couple of national games after we do this that I want to hit, because I've got my eye on Norman, because Mizzou, a lot of times what happens is we'll hear a report on a quarterback,
Right.
and just be like, well, that's the end of him.
And then
We're
he's
not going
back.
to see him again. And then just miraculously, a few weeks later, hey, by the way, it's Bo Priblais. We think he's going to play.
I know. I think it's so interesting. Sometimes I feel like these injury reports that come out, like they're just here for the drama. Like they just want to like throw something out there and then pull it back. I don't know. Sometimes like what qualifies them to go on the injury report, because if, never going to see this guy again, LSU quarterback tears his ACL at the beginning of season and then like he's back. I'm like, what are we doing with some of this stuff? Like how in or out is it going to be? Like even with Carl Williams, talk about Baylor, like he was in street clothes on the sideline the last game, but he was questionable for the game. It's like, well, clearly he's not thinking about playing at all because he's not even in pads. So I don't know. I think like what qualifies these guys to go on the injury list sometimes?
I don't. Yeah. I mean, does Carl get like? Has he had a red shirt? Could this season end up being a red shirt for him? I don't know, and I don't know what he's planning to do portal wise or anything.
Yeah.
I just know Carl was part of a group that Aranda was able to convince to stay in 2023, and unfortunately, no one from that group has really emerged. Yeah. All those young defensive backs, and you would love. I mean, Caden Jenkins had so much ability, and he was so good as a freshman. The thing I don't understand is that Paul Gonzalez, who's the cornerbacks coach, is like got a great reputation.
Yeah.
He was a great coach for Gary Patterson. All right, let's look at.
Yes, let's jump into BYU Cincinnati. Is going to be our 7 p.m. game for the day.
Okay, BYU going into Cincinnati?
Yes, at
Is that
Cincinnati.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, thank you, Alan Samuels. Big 12 wraparound. In fact, I'm going to the lot today. And some of those 1,500, I'm in the market. I'm in the market. And I've gone out there in the past and gotten myself like a Grand Cherokee Laredo with all the bells and whistles. And I like those cars. One car that Ted Teague out there is talking to me about is it's lightly used, like 2024, but it's maroon. And I don't know.
Well,
and of course, Scotty will be upset about that if
your daughter could drive it.
I could.
Your daughter could drive
take my daughter's car back and then give her the mighty maroon, since she is attending Texas A&M. Okay, that game, but Alan Samuels, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank
Wow. Some of the deals out there, and I've even gotten, I'll bring it up later in the program. I've got some specific deals that I can look up that are kind of like, hey, do this today, into the month, kind of like what do we have coming up that's kind of interesting, like in the world of sales? Oh, Black Friday.
Black Friday, so Thanksgiving, so there's always deals, Christmas.
Most days, Black Friday is considered the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I know. Breaking news to you. But that in the car business, that's really an effective day.
It is.
Alan Samuels, come by. Let's be friends, okay? And they practice that on a daily basis. Now, BYU at Cincinnati. Now, BYU is not and they're fine. I think BYU has the respect of the committee. I do think Utah does as well.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, some of these 2-loss teams have more respect. And don't think that's totally fair, but this is a great opportunity. What you need, though, is some of these teams, like if you'll notice, every once in a while, the committee, and they did this years ago, they started this in 2014, they kept Minnesota in the top 25 to help out certain teams. What you hope with the Big 12 is, and it helps Tech to a certain extent because it's their one loss, when they keep a school like Arizona State right on the fringe and they keep them at 25. Always, Faith, study those little teams that end up like 21 through 25 because the committee is trying, it'll tell you what the committee's trying to do. The committee's trying to honor some teams that have played, that have done well against those teams. Now, Utah's record is certainly, and they got 2 losses, but their overall, their strength of record, strength of schedule is not as impressive as BYU's. This is a really good opportunity for both teams, by the way. I mean, Cincinnati, they've had their ups and downs recently, and we talked about Sorsby, and we talked about at times their high-powered offense, and Baylor found out the hard way. But this could be sort of a knockdown drag-out. Now, BYU, what they need to do, and you always hate this time of year, but we do start to style point these wins. And this is an opportunity. BYU needs to perform. There's too many memories that people have right now of them getting shellacked 29-7 out there in Lubbock. Mm-hmm. All right. And I remember when Mac was still doing the college football playoff, he was like, well, the Red Raiders not doing as well, like in that red zone. I love hearing administrators talk about red zone and the eye test and all that kind of stuff. But the Red Raiders, remember, are knocking on the door right now. Yeah. They're sitting up there at number 5? They moved. They were at 6, and I believe they've moved into 5 in the college football playoffs. So they're just waiting. They're like, okay, what could happen in front of us? But it's a fascinating thing to watch out. So BYU needs to take care of business, and if they win out, I mean, it looks like we could get another, BYU Texas Tech rematch in the Big 12 championship game.
We could. Speaking of Utah, at Utah today against K-State. K-State, Utah today.
Okay.
Sorry, you're speaking of Tech. I think Tech has a bye today, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was like, am I crazy? No. They're not playing today? Okay.
No, they're not on your...
Yeah, I was like...
Your mainframe, large...
like, where are they?
Largest laptop here in McLennan County. 27-inch screen over there.
Your legal pad. We could go back and forth all day about your legal pad versus
getting
my
by
laptop,
over
Matt.
here, just with 3 pairs of glasses, just trying to see which one might work today. Okay, K-State, dangerous this time of year because of their coach. And, does it say their record right now? I fear K-State when they're kind of hanging around
5-5
bowl eligibility.
Yeah.
Because
they've got well the back half.
Way too much pride to completely ever give up on a season. And they were 2-4 at one point this season. And remember what happened against Baylor when they came in. I mean, this is a team that could provide some issues. Now, what I would do if I'm Utah, is just line up that little backup quarterback. He's like a third-string quarterback. He's a lefty, by the way. You'd never know because they don't let him throw. And just let him do a little RPO game and then let him, race off. And again, that brings me back and brings back bad memories of what happened to Baylor against Utah. And one of the things Baylor has to guard against today is just that. I mean, like, you have to keep everything in front of you, and you have to have a defensive line that makes some plays. I mean, the linebackers, and that's the first time Dave Aranda finally this past week came out and really got after his players a little bit. Yeah. And he said the linebacker play was really, really bad. Well, I think K-State will have a better game plan. And boy, I saw some jailbreaks last night in high school football, and I had some flashbacks of that Utah game. My team played against the Allen Eagles. Ooh.
Brutal.
Seriously. I mean, I think Allen's got the same enrollment as Baylor.
Oh,
That's a large school. What else do we have?
We have TCU at Houston today, which is our last ranked matchup in the Big 12.
Very, very anxious to watch this because Houston is trying to do some things as far as with their fans. They're really trying, and man, they've had an excellent season. TCU has not. People are calling for Sonny Dykes' job,
which is
there's
crazy.
A lot. I know,
crazy.
But this
what are
is
we doing, guys?
Well, I know, but other schools actually think about moving on from coaches who are struggling. It's time, by the way. We're getting to the time when we need to check on we've got this new poll. We'll check the hour 1 poll. We'll do the hour 2, and then we are getting very, very close to something we call faith in the field. Faith in her local bookie. We'll do that next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Show. I am Faith Lynch with Matt Mosley, and we're going to go ahead and check our Hour 1 fan poll that Andrew has worked so hard on with our graphic.
I don't know.
If it'll
I'm not sure
get
he's
up on the screen.
that hard on. Oh, there it is. There it is. Thank you.
Angry as hell. They changed it for you.
Oh, they. Thank you, Andrew. I was doubting him for a second, and then he just came so strong with that graphic.
See,
and I love that, Dave.
Yeah.
I'd like a thought bubble coming out of his mouth. Like, I appreciate the question. I appreciate the question, Andrew. No, we're just happy he's back, and let's move on with our lives. Just angry as hell. Ooh, man.
I'm telling you, the people feel meh, because there's no other, like, I feel like with the burn of an AD stepping back and then obviously now not returning, and then, like, let's keep our coach around. Like, it's like,
this is not representative of our true audience. I feel like we need to leave this open because maybe I need to drive the vote a little bit. Hey, that's a great amount of votes, 824. I mean, my gosh, Andrew may be padding the numbers a little bit, but I like that. Follow us on YouTube and Twitter for our polls, all right? And we have one coming up, Faith, that you're about to present to us. But, yeah, I think all those sounds you were making earlier, which just sounds kind of funny, but you said meh, and then you were like, yeah. I mean, you're so we should have, like, had all your sounds represented. I don't know if Andrew knows how to spell, like, your but you did some of that earlier.
I know, I feel bad for my friends. They're like, we never know how you're feeling, but we know how you're feeling from the sounds. I'm like, how do I say this other than just ugh.
Ick.
This week has been ugh. I don't know. But our second hour fan poll, what will the outcome of today's game be? Bears win big, Bears win close, Wildcats win close, Wildcats win big. Is this Wildcat as large as the Cincinnati's? That's a Bearcat, so there's a difference. I was thinking about this last night. You were really on the Bearcat of Cincinnati. I didn't know if this was the same height.
Andrew, do we have can we do a side by side of the Bearcat and the Arizona Wildcat? If I'm remembering, now somebody has a Willie the Wildcat. I think that's K-State.
That is K-State.
And they've got an odd thing because they do a big mascot, Willie the Head, but then they have a guy with his normal arms.
Yeah,
no, but they don't have the full costume. I guess they put most of their stuff in NIL and can't afford a whole costume.
Wilbur T. Wildcat.
Oh.
Wilbur? That's Wilbur.
Who's Willie? There's some
Wilbur. That's K-State, but Arizona's is Wilbur.
Oh, Wilbur. Okay.
Wilbur Wildcat and his wife Wilma.
Well, Baylor has.
That's interesting.
Brutus.
Matt, no.
Wait, they have Marigold
and Bruiser.
Yeah, Brutus was close.
What? How did you forget Bruiser's name? Oh my gosh!
I really like the live mascots, and I happen to know a Marigold. Her dad was my college roommate, and so I'm a bigger fan of Marigold. Bruiser, I feel like, is just a little bit too reserved. I don't think he really interacts enough. No, I'm kidding. Bruiser does it. Bruiser does a fine job. There was a former Baylor, if I may go off topic for just a moment. Please. I know we like to keep this YouTube show extremely tight, but there was somebody that was a mascot at Baylor who then went on. I wrote a story about him in the Dallas Morning News to become the Minnesota Timberwolves mascot. And when he was at Baylor, he was the inflatable mascot. They had this. You don't remember this, do you? Scotty would remember it.
An inflatable mascot?
I don't think Andrew remembers this. They had this massive inflatable mascot. Now, we can find a picture of that.
Well, I really missed out.
And I still would like to see the Bearcat, by the way. That's a 9-foot animal. But the inflatable mascot, we should be able to find that one. It's I'm just kind of making up things for them to look up.
I know. Here's a list of things we want you to pull up on screen right now.
At least Scotty's used to it. I'm just like, okay, Scotty, I know we had 9 hours to prepare before the show, but it's now 20 seconds to the show, and here's the graphic I would like. Oh, Scotty.
Well, anyways, make sure you interact with our poll. Make sure you go and vote. Tell us who you think the outcome of today's game will be. My answer may be different than past weeks. We'll have to see, but make sure my heart is already breaking, but make sure you interact in our comment section. Stay tuned with us. I'm sure there's a way to vote. I think I saw it on the side. Andrew always does a great job with that, but
let me set this up. All right. I'd like a camera. Come over here. Let me take off this is okay. It is time for something we like to call Faith in the Field. And she's done very serious stories, emotional, poignant stories that KWTX have been celebrated there. We had a package, I think, earlier this morning on KWTX and featuring all of us. I think Scotty mostly puts himself on there, but I think some of us others were involved as well. But this is the time we go Faith in the Field. And I understand, Faith, today you're going to lead us down an interesting path. The NCAA has a new rule. It was approved, and it was not liked by Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, who was very upset about this. And usually he gets what he wants. But again, approval of a new rule. And I'm anxious to see what you think of it, because you bring that interesting perspective of having been a D1 athlete. I mean, obviously we have a lot of athletes on the set, but you are the only one who lettered, at least in college. All right, what do you have for us in Faith in the Field? Oh, good. Look at that.
No, nice little.
Oh, I just want to, I really would like to jam with some music to that, but I do like, my gosh, our graphics department has done a beautiful job. I like that. Faith in the Field.
Yes.
Faith, take it away.
Yes. Well, I was inspired by, sometimes you like to bring up the line of the game. And so I thought, let's talk about money. So the line is 6.5 today. But with two things that I think we can bring up today, and this just speaks to NIL and money and the way college football is changing. But there was a vote. The NCAA wanted to make a vote on allowing collegiate athletes to bet on professional sports, not collegiate sports, but professionals. The vote was going to pass as of yesterday, but in the last, I believe, 20 minutes, they were able to get 2/3 of that vote changed. So the NCAA and athletic department staff will not be allowed to bet on professional sports after the organization's membership voted as of Friday to rescind a rule change that may have permitted those bets. Obviously, there's been a lot of professional athletes with mob ties in the news recently, and I think it probably scared a lot of people, as this is a real thing. Who are we to think that current NCAA football players are not going to call their 1 year removed friends that are now playing in the NFL league? I mean, that's a very easy way of, hey, they're still, if you're going to allow college athletes to bet in professional sports, there's still a pipeline there, because that's the next step, and sometimes the dream for players to go to the next step. So kind of crazy. But this rule was allowed to change, would have taken effective November 1st, but under a rule change, the Division I schools were given 30 days to rescind the proposal. And since it was adopted by less than 75% of the cabinet. So it was going to set to change, but 75% of the Division I cabinet decided that they were not happy for it. So then more than 2/3 needed to vote to stop the rule before it changed Friday. So college athletes will not be allowed to bet on professional sports. I think it's great. I think especially with a Baylor lens of, we already have so much going on and so much change right now. Let's not throw something else into there that the school has to monitor and make sure is okay. It wouldn't have even been legal in Texas, because you're not allowed to gamble in Texas. I mean, you could drive up to Oklahoma or Florida or wherever, but in Texas, it wouldn't have changed a whole lot. And then today, the University of Arizona partnered with Casino del Sol for a $60 million naming right agreement to rename the Arizona Stadium as the largest agreement in the Big 12 Conference history, which I just think is very interesting with casinos and changing. And this was a 2-day change, I believe. So, Matt, I'd love to get your opinion on, what kind of problem is this going to cause for collegiate athletes, or what type of lens of, hey, we're renaming stadiums now with a casino lens, or allowing maybe in the future having college athletes wanting to proceed in gambling and betting and participating in it from a sports lens? What do you think that does from an NIL perspective or recruiting, and I think it's another mess, a can of worms they're opening up. It's going to be really hard to control, but
I think I believe that the desperation to have more in the revenue share and the NIL, and how will the next AD at Baylor, do you think it'll be McLean Stadium? Do you think it'll be continued just to call McLean?
right.
There will be a drive to get a huge corporate sponsor for the stadium. It's kind of surprising that they haven't pushed that more than they do. And I've got some suggestions I would make. I've got companies I would like them to work with. I think I can help broker the deal. But the casino thing, it seems awkward around college athletics, but it was coming because a lot of times the pros set the tone, and Adam Silver is finding out he is reaping what he sowed, and what he did is basically say, I could see a future where we have betting kiosks at the arenas. And it all sounded fun, and it all sounded forward thinking. But to think there weren't going to be people sort of taking advantage of that. And so, yeah. And by the way, it's already a problem in college.
Yeah.
We saw it with Iowa State players. We've seen it with others. We've seen recently some point shaving type scandals, and those things go way back. So, yeah, it's not great, but colleges will look at any possible resource. Thank you.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
I appreciate it. I like Faith in the Field. I think that was an interesting one. And this is a victory for Greg Sankey, by the way. He was the one trying to shoot this down. So I appreciate the breaking news angle of this. Thank you, Hondo Hat Company. Boy, you've been so supportive of Faith in the Field, and we love your products and all those new T-shirts you have. And I love big lettering, man. Big lettering and straight build caps. That is the Mosley way. All right, appreciate what you do, and love the Baylor angle with Mr. Posey over there, but former Baylor baseball player. Let's go behind enemy lines. Scotty's going to get involved in this, and we got a great sponsor as a part of this. We'll do that next.
Nation rolls along with Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Alan Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
At Camp Info Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
We're back. Mosley's back. Faith's back. Oh, we're back. It's Green and Gold Game Day. Scotty Swigler on set. We're going to get behind enemy lines here in a second. I want to thank Mission Golf Cars. If you want to take a ride behind enemy lines, why don't you go out to West Loop 340, Mission Golf Cars. Tell them Matt Mosley and or Green and Gold Game Day sent you. You know how much they're going to give you off your Mission Golf car?
$500.
That is correct. $500 off. Check them out at missiongolfcars.com. There's been a lot of talk around football today, Matt and Faith, but there's a football game happening, in about 45 minutes. And I'm here to say, what do we think of these Arizona Wildcats?
You are here to say it. And I'm here to answer that question. And like I've always said to you, I appreciate the question.
Thank you, Coach.
And Scotty and I, at one point, Faith, we kind of felt something coming from this Arizona team about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Nobody else saw it. They were like 3-3 or 2-3 or whatever, and they got it on a little roll. And part of it is they have the continuity of a great quarterback, and he's a tiny little man. He's not a big strapping guy like a lot of these quarterbacks, like our Sawyer. His name is Noah Fafita. And I look at this team. I find Arizona to be interesting because I did not, and this is what you were asking earlier today, Faith, could you really find a good coach if you had to move quickly? Well, I don't know. They had to move quickly to find their coach because Washington had an opening, and Arizona's coach went and took that, and that was a really good coach, and they got this guy from San Jose State. And I kind of thought, really? You went from being a excellent, 10-win team to having to go hire the San Jose State coach? But I'm telling you, this Brennan, and today, now what do I do when I'm in a car? You go, Mosley, what are you listening to? A lot of people say, what are you into? What kind of music are you into? I'm into press conferences. I'm into listening to this Coach Brennan and what he had to say this week. Also a reminder that other coaches across this conference do more than one press conference. He does a Monday. And then by Thursday, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator are talking. So I got to listen to both of them. And by Friday, oh my goodness, their head coach is talking again. Can you imagine asking your head coach to do that much media? But anyway, he does it. There's some great explanations. And in listening to those, I find out a lot more about these teams. And I will just say, when I think of Arizona, I go back to the Arizona teams of my time in college. Those Arizona teams, Dick Tomey was the coach, and they were called Desert Swarm. Something called Desert Storm, Faith, had just happened. We'd had a little bit of a war. It was over pretty quickly, and the Americans came out okay. We probably should have handled some more business while we were over there. But Desert Swarm did happen. Desert Storm. They were known as Desert Swarm. And this defense, and their defensive coordinator, I believe his name is Danny Gonzalez. And there was a guy named Rocky Long who coached at New Mexico, and he's been around. He's a disciple of his. And what he believes is kind of what Cowboys are trying to do right now. Cowboys are not doing, I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They did a little bit better job last week. But this guy he'll look each week, and he literally will go, how are my 3 up front guys? How are my defensive linemen playing? And what if I have a fourth in the rotation who's playing great? From week to week, he may have 3 down linemen. He may have 4. And much like what the Cowboys did against the Raiders the other day, he'll bring in 5. He'll put 5 linemen. And then at times they'll go with what Aranda calls his peso package, where they have 2 down linemen and then kind of have extra linebackers. Right. I'm just saying this team, and Scotty usually talks to all these, and he loves talking to these opposing, like the radio people. Yeah. They're always really good. But what this group brings is just a lot of unpredictable. And what's funny is, and I'm doing this because it reminds me of Aranda. Aranda likes talking about, oh, we were in quarters, or we were playing 2 deep, or we were in 3 deep, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. But this guy does it, and he's done it with some, and he'll bring some heat. So when you bring the kind of heat that I think Arizona is looking to do today, it will sometimes open up some one-on-one matchups and some shot plays down the field. It will,
and let me tell you, though, what it's done for Arizona. As I was looking through the team's statistics, okay, offense is decent. Nothing really blows you away. You look at those defensive statistics.
Yep.
14 interceptions and 9 forced fumbles. Their turnover margin on the season is plus 10.
Yeah.
By the way, Baylor's is minus 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get into this when we get to Bear Essentials later. But turnovers, the keys to the game for Baylor every week, both offensively and defensively. This Arizona defense, because of that chaos you're talking about, and an excellent secondary, they pick the ball off. They are great at forcing turnovers.
Arizona's tied for the first in the Big 12 for interceptions. I mean, like, they make things happen defensively, and Baylor has not been able to do that. So I think that's going to be a really big key for them, is how do we stop their defense from controlling our side of the offense? Because Baylor's receivers, wideouts, Sawyer's been one of the highest passing quarterbacks in the nation at times. How are they able to still play the maybe highlight of Baylor's game this season against an Arizona defense like this?
And I don't know if you guys observed this against Utah last week. I observed this as I was watching. Utah did a lot of one-on-one kind of coverage. Baylor's receivers were often beating that coverage. We know Baylor's got 4 or 5 guys who can beat one-on-one coverage pretty reliably. Whether the ball got out on time or on target was a different story last week. Yeah. So for Baylor, it's not only about that one-on-one coverage, but as Matt was talking about, as those defensive fronts shift, making sure your offensive line knows their assignments, you're checking correctly, you're getting – because if you let a free runner come at Sawyer, well, I don't care how good your quarterback is, you're not going to be able to hit those routes downfield.
All right, Scotty, that was good. And Faith, in what they do there, we sick them, they bear down, is what Arizona says, bear down, even though they're the Wildcats, and that's their big saying. Thank you, Mission Golf Cars. Love them. Love those things. Man, you can outfit those things any way you want. You can get around town. I mean, it's hard to slow them down. You can put a little governor on there if you try, but it's hard because they are speedy and they are street ready. And we love Mission Golf Cars. Thank you for being a part of this. It is time to talk about something I started to hit on earlier. I think we can talk about some of the traits that Baylor needs in a new AD. This has been a huge week for all of that. And then, of course, that AD in the future might have to make a decision on a head coach. Not for a good while now, because Dave Aranda, in case you missed it, has been retained by the Bears. All right, we'll talk about that. We'll do it next on the Green and Gold Game Day Show.
Posey, and I'm a third-generation Baylor Bear. During my time playing baseball at Baylor, I started a hat company called Hondo, which started as meek and humble beginnings, has quickly grown into something more. Over 40,000 hats sold, and then over 100 retail locations nationwide. I love vintage Western hats, but couldn't stand the condition they came in, so I decided to make my own. Vintage style, but with modern aesthetics. Thank you so much for making my dream come true, and for enabling what was once a dream to become a reality. God bless.
Drive into fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive into Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Everyone, hello. Guys, welcome back to Dear Sports. I am so pumped to be back in the podcast world and filming season 2 of Dear Sports. On this podcast, you're going to find stories from former and current athletes about their journey through sports and the impact it has made in their life. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow our Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on all things Dear Sports.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Falconberry Construction is now Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out GatherCoRemodeling.com. Thanks so much for sponsoring Green and Gold Game Day.
At Camfinfo Waco, we believe fun is more fun outside. We also believe fun is more fun in the pool, by the water park, at your RV, in a cabin, and with the friends and family you love the most. So grab a drink, take a ride, and stay a while. We think you'll discover that fun is more fun outside, too.
Welcome back, Green and Gold Game Day. We are just about to get just one more time into this AD search. Head coaching, Dave Aranda's here. We, a lot of questions coming up around that. That is what is top of Baylor's mind. Then we'll get to our keys to the game later. But I did want to go back to something we were talking about a few minutes ago while I was behind the producer's chair here. Let me show you a photo of the Wildcat versus the Bearcat. A little side-by-side here for you, Mosley. There's your Arizona Wildcat next to your Cincinnati Bearcat. By the way, one of our guys here, John Valade, 365's own, a great friend, did text me. He asked ChatGPT, and Chat provided a very insightful answer here. Who wins in a fight, a Wildcat or a Bearcat? The response being, the Bearcat wins.
Wow.
Larger, heavier, stronger bite, more endurance, size and power overwhelm the Wildcat despite its agility and speed. So
I like the dental plan there for Wilbur on the left. There's just something kind of fun about
kind of
that.
like the flat-brimmed hat. That's interesting.
That's not bad. I mean, I would wear that. And then
The Converse shoved into it.
I just when you can't really understand the intimidation factor of the Bearcat until you're with him in person. Or is that is that a male? Is it a Bearcat? Anyway, I don't know how he identifies, but that's a great looking Bearcat. And you talk about just the height, and I've seen him at those Big 12 media days, the way he moves around. And it's something. And the only issue about the West Virginia, they have a gun. That's always kind of awkward to be just carrying a gun around a media day.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned the height. I grew up in Waco in an era where I did indeed know who you were referencing earlier, Matt. You were referencing Judge the Inflatable Bear. I think we have a photo here as well.
Yes.
Faith
Lynch.
Oh
My gosh.
Faith Lynch, that is Judge the Inflatable Bear. And when I was a kid going to Baylor basketball games, you still had Bruiser. Bruiser was still running around the stands, but then at all the little breaks, timeouts, etc., Judge the inflatable bear would come out onto the basketball court and run around. His head would kind of flop around there.
He would be at football games too.
Yeah, but
I really missed out.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
I'd bring that back. The new AD, I think you ought to ask in the ADs, are you interested in bringing an inflatable back? And that, but I did a whole story. I had a front page story of the Dallas Morning News that I wrote, and it was the guy, I can almost remember his name. He was in that thing, and then he became the Minnesota Timberwolves mascot. He went from Baylor. Yeah, kind of a neat deal.
He got drafted.
He got drafted. He got called
lottery pick.
I feel like I remember that. I think they came back with like a mini version of this one time. There was like a baby version of like a blow up.
One of our producers, Andrew, was saying he's got the bobblehead version of this at home. The bobblehead inflatable Judge mascot.
Speaking of head, did Judge ever stand on his head? Did they ever do that bit?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the Judge would get on his head there, pop around a little bit.
Yeah,
and
that's
bounce
true.
around.
I had forgotten about that.
Yeah, it's good. Let's transition right into this to President Livingstone's letter.
Oh, jeez.
Can we put the letter on the screen now?
Goodness.
Well, I tell you. Go ahead, Scotty.
I was just going to say. I think this talking point is salient. Baylor people talking about it. Obviously, in the span of like 30 hours, if not less, we find out as kind of Baylor fans, Mack Rhoades has resigned. That was not particularly surprising to anybody given the news of late. But then the next day, the story breaks, and the letter you mentioned comes out. Baylor will retain Dave Aranda. And I think what I'd like to discuss for just a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to promote really quickly. If you are a Baylor fan who wants more on this, Terrence Ganaway and I and Tim Watkins of 24/7 Sports will discuss this on Please Bear With Me tomorrow night at 5 o'clock on YouTube. How does the decision to retain Dave Aranda affect how Baylor goes about looking for an AD? That I'm really, really curious by that, because I think there's some you could look at it either way. I think there's some conventional wisdom that would say that kind of hurts your ability to hire an AD. If an AD feels like he's, quote unquote, stuck with the football coach, well, what's that say about your kind of role as an AD or your authority as an AD? Well, on the other hand, maybe I've heard this perspective. Does that relieve some pressure and stress that you don't have to immediately fire a longtime head coach and immediately go hire the right guy at a program you are just now perhaps getting familiar with, assuming it's an outside hire?
I think most candidates, Scotty, would prefer the latter. I think rather than, and that's the whole, this was not a good option. She said it in there. Baylor's not as competitive. They're not happy with the program right now. I mean, he is still the head coach because of this Mack Rhoades horrible timing on him getting into whatever he got into. Like, that's it. I mean, it's not that hard. That's Dave Aranda, and we said it right away. Said Dave Aranda has caught a big break here, and he did. Now, to your point, most ADs, and that's why I'm glad you brought this up, because there was people that are like, who would want this? Who would want this? Well, by the way, you're probably going to end up, given what's happened, you're going to need to pay a lot of money to this AD. So that means there's going to be a ton of people that want that. Baylor's a great school. They've come up with money. Baylor has big donors. This thought that we don't have any money. That's the biggest bull I've ever heard in my life. There's plenty of money out there. Now, would they have shot more money at a new coach? Like the hope of a new coach? Yeah. People would have gotten off the sidelines and been throwing money in there. But from an AD perspective, they want 11 months. They want that time to sit it. So there's this did not make this a less attractive job because of them retaining Dave Aranda. It just made the whole fan base mad. The whole fan base today is like, I kind of want us to win and all that, but I cannot believe we have another year of this guy. He knows it. The coaching staff knows that, everything. I had a coach reach out to me and basically say, listen, we know people don't believe it right now, but like we're actually building something special. And that's great. I want them to be thinking that. The whole I call it a pledge class, the recruiting class coming up, like that should be an exciting moment. Hopefully that's going to end up being a good class. But Scotty, it's an interesting question. And I think a lot of people are thinking, I think that most ADs do not want to get hired in a rush and welcome to Baylor. Let's have a news conference. Oh, by the way, we really need you to have us a new coach in the next 5 days.
Yeah.
So get hired, run a search. I mean, the new AD at West Virginia, Ren Baker, whose name has come up in this, had to make a decision at West Virginia because he had a similar type timing on it, and they went ahead and stuck with Neil Brown. And I can't remember if it was after the decent year. Maybe it was the year before that, whenever he took over. And the reason I kind of like that guy is because, man, he's had to make some difficult. He had to basically fire a legend in Huggins, hire a guy who then 1 year later gets hired in Indiana, go hire another basketball coach who seems to be pretty good, by the way, and he's already had to hire a football coach. I like people that have been through the fires and understand what it is to have to hire people. And know people. I know why people like the guy at UNT, and I like him too. He's got my same last name. He's 6'9". He's a good dude. But and I love Jeremiah Dickey is like the no-brainer of all no-brainers because he could hit the ground running. But your search can be more complete and more robust with this current situation. So if you want to look at silver linings about Dave Aranda, which I realize most of our audience doesn't want to. Most of them are either mad. I thought you guys were angrier. And then you just checked the box that said meh.
I'm telling you.
Mainly because faith was leading you down that path. But I mean, I
think Andrew just
I
agrees
sensed
with me.
yesterday.
I think that's really what it is. I think Andrew agrees with me.
Didn't you sense just anger though out there on social media yesterday?
Listen, and X never represents real life, right? It's a small fraction of real life, but at least on X, where I kind of do most of my sports information gathering, sharing, I think a lot of sports people do it that way. A lot of anger. And I'm in, Matt, and you are too. I'm in several group threads of various kinds of people that I'm close with or not so close with. They're all Baylor fans, and in all those threads, it was just outrage. Yeah. I mean, and I get it. And that was the thing about the letter, Matt. I don't know that I think you could be right. The decision, there can be some rationale for the decision. I think the timing was weird. Like, we're going to go ahead and announce this before there's an AD in place when we still don't know if this team's going to reach a bowl game or not. Kind of a strange time, I think, to float it out there to the fan base.
Do you think they are doing that because an AD decision's coming soon?
No. They did it so they could relax on the AD thing. It's not coming soon. Like, they did this to preserve the ability not to be crazy rushed on the AD. They did this in the timing they did it to go ahead and lock up those recruits. You don't have to have another 10 days go by where people are like, they're going to fire your coach. They may fire your coach.
Fair.
We're going to try to poach you.
Yeah, fair.
So this was about preserving that class, and that was part of it. All right, good stuff. Good discussion, guys. It is time. And by the way, Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
My friends, the Falconberries, they've been here a long time. One of the things they specialize in, Matt, if I'm ever so fortunate to own my own home, this is what I'm going to do. Outdoor hangout space. Man, if I could have an outdoor kitchen, little furniture with a TV to watch the game outside, especially this time of year right now. It's like 65 degrees outside right now. Perfect day to watch this Baylor game outside. Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. They can renovate that space for you, build it out, customize it. They do these accordion doors. So if you wanted to convert like the whole wall from your living room to your patio or from your kitchen outside, they can just do these accordion glass doors. You slide open, almost integrate that space as part of your house. It's awesome. You should call them.
Well, when you start talking about accordion glass, that gets me ready to roll.
I know it does.
Gather & Co.
Gets you ready for some Bare Essentials.
If they have like a model, I'd like to go over there and watch a game. I mean, and just, ask the Falconberries, just say, Would you like to have Mosley over sometime?
I'll text him and say he's on his way in 15 minutes.
He'll be there. He'll be there soon. Okay. It is time, though, for Bear Essentials. We'll kind of update some polls, and we will give our predictions and some final words as the Bears get ready to get it on in Arizona with Wilbur the Wildcat. It's all next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
Welcome back to 365 Sports Green and Gold Game Day Show. Faith Lynch, Matt Mosley, Scotty Swingler. We're going to spend the last 10 minutes with you talking about, we're going to check the poll. We're going to give our predictions behind enemy lines. Oh, just kidding. Bear Essentials is what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
We're going to wrap it up before we get to this 12 kickoff. So let's check our poll of Bears win close, Bears win big, Arizona wins close.
It's about what I expected, folks.
It's fair. Only 177 votes, not 824.
Oh my gosh.
Those Aranda opinions are
People are a little hotter on that other topic. We probably should have stayed with that even more. No, we've done enough of that this week. We'll continue on all our shows. Scotty just plugged his show. Please bear with me. What time is that?
5
Sunday?
p.m. tomorrow night. Terrence Ganaway, myself, and we're welcoming Tim Watkins tomorrow. So
encouraging people not to go to church tomorrow evening.
I'm encouraging people to go to church in the morning like normal Americans. Get a good lunch with your family.
I like a good
You've got
Sunday
time
night.
for a post. You
I
got
like
time
Sunday
for a
night church.
post-lunch nap.
So
and then you can come to Please Bear With Me.
These churches that have called off Sunday night services, I'm troubled by that.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness.
And if you've canceled Wednesdays, then you're really in trouble. All right. No, I do. I'll be.
They're
I'll
always
be
doing
tuning
Sunday
in.
nights in Kaufman.
Like a good Sunday night. Yeah. My church in Dallas is kind of strayed on Sunday nights, but we've been having something in the chapel called Vespers.
Oh.
Love a good Vespers. I don't
Very good.
totally understand it. So let me look at this real quick. Wildcats win big, 42%. Oh man. All right. And 9%. That's a little shockingly high, honestly, for Bears win big. Faith in the Field today was about gambling and about Faith was giving you all her picks. No, she was talking about some trends in college football. I will help you. Faith talks about how I like to talk about the lines. Scotty likes to talk about them too. 6.5. In fact, one of our sponsors on the Mosley Show and some of our other fine shows, Underdog. But the line on today's game, 6.5. Did you say that, Faith?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be tempted. I don't bet on the Bears, and I never have, and I just don't really bet, period. But I would be tempted to take the Wildcats to cover the 6.5. I think
Baylor is the worst team in college football this year against the spread. I don't remember if it was 2. I don't remember if it was 2-8 or 1-9 against the spread this season, but it has not been a year to bet on the Bears against the spread. All right, guys. So keys to the game, Bear Essentials. If Baylor's going to not only cover but win?
I would love to see the O-line do a better job. I felt like against Utah, Sawyer did not have enough time in the pocket. I felt like he has not had a good past 2 games. I feel like he's not been able to do what he's good at, which is a lot of passing yards. And having an O-line do their job, I think lets Sawyer do his job well. And then, I mean, obviously from the defensive side, it's just week after week after week. So I don't feel like it needs to be an essential anymore because I don't think we're going to see that. But I would love for the defense to make some decisions. Throw a haymaker. What Matt loves to throw that in there. Some haymakers. But I would love to see the O-line perform well and give Sawyer time to do his job well.
All right. I like all that. And wouldn't it be great to see Michael Trigg in these last 2 games just continue to go off?
Yeah.
He's a matchup nightmare. And they do have kind of a bit of a coaching genius on the defensive side. But I promise you, with all those interceptions, they still don't have a great matchup for Trigg. Nobody does. And Trigg has been let out in the public. I noticed. Did you guys notice that? J-Mo sat down with Trigg for some kind of deal. I mean, Trigg's been putting up these huge games, and they don't let him come after games. I'm like, why would we not hear from this unbelievable tight end? And so they put it behind a paywall, which that's okay. I love a good paywall. But that's good. That's good to get Trigg out there talking. Interesting note. I'll come back to it. This offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, once recruited. He was with Trigg at Ole Miss and recruited him to USC. Has great respect for him. Also a lot of knowledge of him. So that'll be kind of interesting to see if he's weighed in to help the defense. But I like these 2 coordinators, and I like Seth. What's weird to me, and this is about, as you get older, Scotty, this happens, like Seth Dagey, in my mind, should still be playing. I feel like Seth Dagey should be on a Big 12 team, and he's the offensive coordinator for Arizona today, and a pretty good one at that.
Yeah, he is, and Arizona's playing really balanced offense this season. Here's the key for Baylor, and I'm going to humble brag really quick. Last week, I said 3 statistics would determine the game. Turnover, Baylor lost. Can Baylor be within 70 yards rushing of Utah? Not even close. And then Sawyer's QBR.
Yeah.
When Sawyer is over 75 this season on QBR, Baylor is undefeated, 5-0. When he's under, they're 0-5. I believe he was somewhere around 67 last week. Here's the statistic to watch this week. Red zone. Arizona's defense forces a lot of turnovers. Faith already mentioned they lead the Big 12 in interceptions. But when they let teams get to the red zone, they do not have a good red zone defense.
Yeah.
In 28 attempts, teams have scored 24 times in the red zone. Baylor cannot cannot miss opportunities to score in the red zone. Baylor needs to be 100% today in red zone scoring. Now, if they only reach the red zone twice because of turnovers, well, red zone scoring doesn't do you a lot of good. But that's what I'm watching for today. Which team is better in the red zone? I think whichever team is better in the red zone today is going to win the football game.
No, I agree. I feel like in the Utah game, there was like 4 or 5 times where they were in the red zone and just could not make anything. First down, second down, third. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we got to at least like throw someone over there with the ball. I don't know, do something. But no, I agree. It's a good point, Scotty.
Now, where was the humble part of that brag? I'd like to know where that was.
That was humble. I mean, he said his points and said I was correct.
Thank you, Faith.
And then we moved on. And you put your shacket on in the process.
Let's show the shacket off. This is one of my favorite accessories. Really goes well with anything.
We need to get a shacket sponsor.
Yeah, we should.
And by the way, cricket is sort of my go-to for shacket, and I'm sure they will be joining both the Green and Gold Game Day pregame show and the Mosley show soon. Man, I've enjoyed this, Scotty. I mean, ever since you joined the crew up here at the desk, you just brought a great energy. Wish people could see your Chuck Taylors. Just a good look. Those canvas shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I had to play in those. They're not good on the ankles. Led to a life of and Faith, thank you. Yes. Thank you for everything. It's fun to be in the studio. We got one more performance, and then
we could have a bowl game, Mosley.
Are we going on the road for a bowl game? And could we go to the Bowl of Beans game?
And Mosley, before we go,
Boca Raton, Florida.
You were talking about ankles.
Oh, yeah.
If you have an issue with your ankles, Ascension Providence. If you have any other kind of health issue at all, Ascension Providence. We love them. They're awesome. I've been interviewing some of their doctors for the Mosley show. All very kind, easy to talk to people, which I don't know if you've met a lot of doctors. Most of them, some of them are not always easy to talk to. Ascension Providence, great folks over there.
Yeah, like when I'm hanging with Scotty this afternoon, watching the game, I halfway expect one of those doctors to show up and watch with us. He has spent a lot of time with them. They're very gracious folks and very learned. I mean, these are really good at their stuff. Okay, we got to get you ready for kickoff. We have loved doing this today. Andrew and Kev have just been incredible, and always great to be with them. For Scotty Swingler and Faith Lynch, I am Matt Mosley. We'll see you next week.
365 Sports.